What's up, guys? Happy Monday. If there is a that sort of thing, but CassMac Chat just because we have an off day, so I thought we could talk about where the Braves sit right now, and things are starting to become whole. Travis d'Arnaud off the IL. I hope that we will continue using Murphy as our primary catcher. Maybe 75-25 split, especially with Travis's concussion history and just the fact that Sean Murphy is the entire package has been incredible in every aspect of the game. I understand that we'll split it probably a little bit because you don't want to run down them both. And Charlie Morton works well with Travis, but it's a really good problem to have. And obviously with Marcelo Zuna showing signs of life of late. I guess we have Marlins Park to thank for that. You got a good problem to have, and Eddie Rosario putting together better at bats. You really got a good problem. So that is going to be fun. Obviously, Kyle Wright being out with the shoulder strain hurts, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be a quick IL stint with him because shoulders are just really, really scary and finicky. With the back, it's kind of like a back with a position player. You just never know. With Kyle Wright going, and then the uncertainty with Max Fried, for some reason right now, it's got a little bit extra concerning. But being 24-11 is fantastic with Strider doing what he's doing. With Max Fried doing what he's doing. And Bryce Elder, the young unsung hero of the the rotation. I don't know where we would be without him, especially because Schuster and Dodd struggled a little bit. I mean, Dodd's had a couple of good starts, but Schuster really hasn't put the found the GPS. So having Bryce Elder doing what he's done, Charlie Morton's been solid as well. Just hasn't got the run support. You may be that guy in the rotation that just doesn't get the run support. And you got, and Michael Tonkin out of the bullpen doing what he's doing. Nick Anderson feeling really good about what he's doing. And obviously getting Iggy back. AJ Minter looked like his all-star type self in the 8th inning. Sometimes it's just the 9th inning thing, and that happens. I mean, sometimes you just never know because they are humans, and you have to have a certain. Even though AJ Minter was able to save 7, it wasn't necessarily the easiest ride, and obviously I've talked about this multiple times, but relievers go into slumps just as players and pitchers do, but you feel it more when it's in the bullpen. And I think AJ Minter getting into a comfortable role and people establishing the roles with Iggy back And Chavez, excuse me. Chavez has been amazing outside of a couple of outings, but got Iggy back in the in the ninth inning, and then the starters hopefully go 5. If they don't, you got Tonkin and Chavez that can take the longer. Colin McHugh 7, 6, 7. You really got a lot of good depth there. I think Joe Jimenez is one that I still can't figure out in terms of his role and what he's going to be. I know he hasn't pitched that great to start the season, but he's been put in some ugly type of situations as well. I mean, the bases loaded with no outs against the Orioles. That was kind of a no-win situation. Obviously, you don't want to see the grand slam, but pitching an 11-0 blowout wins. I mean, I just don't think he's found his niche with the Braves yet. But we will see that. Ronald Acuna Jr. is just on some insane pace, being all the way back with seemingly every aspect of the game. With the throw yesterday, the 15 stolen bases, his on-base streak was snapped, but that throw yesterday was a massive part. And just the simple things, him cutting off baseballs, thus then allowing our pitchers a little bit more margin for error, saving which a normal person in right field may give up a double. It's a single for Ronald, so our pitchers have a little, because Ronald's able to cut it off with his speed. So it takes 2 or 3 hits to beat you instead of 2, the standard 2. That's nice to know. And Ronald is just absolutely incredible. What he does in the first inning, what he does, his at bats, his play discipline. He gets somewhat of an ugly strike zone at times, and the majority of his strikeouts come from a bad call or two, which then makes him expand the zone a little more. Yeah, sometimes he gets antsy, but even his plate discipline has been at a extra elite level for him this year. And I love the fact that the 9-hole in our lineup this year has kind of been a magical spot in terms of flipping the lineup over for Ronald and Arcia coming back yesterday, kind of magically being healed. It's kind of nice to see, because he was only doing dry swings like a week ago, and then and just put him back in there without a rehab assignment and without anything, and just seemingly came in with no residual effect, had a double, really high IQ plays and really solid defense, like he never left. And I wish he never left, because he was on such a roll to start the season, but that even lengthens the lineup even more. And then obviously Marcell Ozuna coming to life does definitely help that, for sure, with the 6 RBI, 6 runs scored, and 6 hits in the Miami series, and then putting up productive at bats. The homer, a few walks. They even intentionally walked him yesterday. I get the lefty, because Michael Harris has been in and out of the lineup with some scary injuries. And the lefty, it makes pure baseball sense, but statistically this year, I don't know. I might have taken my chances with Marcell. Just even with the better at bats, he had a homer. He had a productive ground out to get Sam Hilliard to third yesterday and scored on the wild pitch. So like he's doing it all. Hey Hudson. I've been talking to myself for 10 minutes, so but I just have been talking about Sean Murphy and his greatness, and Marcell Ozuna showing flashes, and the depth of our lineup being even better. The only foreseeable problem I see is because Eddie Rosario, Marcell Ozuna having really good at bats lately, and then you got Travis, which I would rather. Yes, Sean being the player of the week is well deserving, and I hope we keep this. I hope it's a 75-25 split, honestly. Catching wise, I know Travis and Charlie work really well together, so I wouldn't put it past that'll be a thing, the personal catcher type thing. But Sean Murphy has been everything and more, and that also adds another problem because you want Travis and Sean's bat in the lineup, but you also, with Eddie playing as well as he is, and Marcell finally finding some life, you almost have too many good players and not enough spots. Not that that's a bad thing, but it's an interesting thing to navigate and debate. And I'm glad I'm not the one making the decisions, but Sean Murphy better not become the platoon thing that we did it early in the season, just because I don't want Sean to lose the rhythm. And honestly, I knew Sean was good, and I'm really glad to be vindicated of that, but I don't know that I knew that he was this good. But that is always a good thing. We'll see, we got Boston in a 2-game series, I believe, and then CB Buckner's on the call of the Cardinals and Cubs. I'm sure that'll be fun. I don't know who Boston.
I do, but I also buy into it's a long year, and this is a pretty small sample size.
Boston and the Blue Jays. So this will be a nice test, and I'm really glad that our bullpen's kind of coming into shape a little bit.
Genesis Cabrera was gone during the WBC. Giovanni Cabrera was gone during the.
So that's really good. Iggy looking like he never left is nice to see. And then AJ Minter sliding back into that 7-8 role. Looks like the all-star pitcher that he has been, which again is nice to see. I'm really confused on what exactly the Cardinals are doing. I know they're losing a lot, but now this whole Wilson Contreras thing. Being the primary DH at 5 years, $87.5 million. I feel like Yachty leaving, obviously leaves a gaping hole, but I didn't realize it was that gaping of hole in terms of I think he ran the entire pitching staff. They didn't do anything coaches wise, and now without him, they're kind of lost on an island, and that's really weird in terms of the conversation, in terms of how to deal with not having Yadier Molina. And I know franchise players have cornerstones, but it just feels really weird that an organization like the Cardinals is not is a complete mess right now. And not that I'm sad about it at all. I'm not, but it's so weird. It's really weird to see. Like, I mean, I get it. Losing cornerstone players are terrible, and you got to move on. And you got to have waves, but I guess there's no comparison in terms of the Braves because we chose to move on from some cornerstones. From obviously, they're different situations and whatnot, but us being able to move on from cornerstones and looking fine versus what the Cardinals are now is just strange to me, and I'm very, very happy that we have Alex Anthopoulos and the situations. Also, you look at the moves that Alex Anthopoulos made this offseason, signing Sam Hilliard, signing Kevin Pillar. Super happy for Kevin Pillar in that he always seemed to be the guy that crushed us. Like the rando role player that always came back and bit the Braves all the time, and I've always liked him. He personal crash dummy, I think, is his nickname, and we've seen that this year, and just coming in really good at bats, really solid at bats. And yes, Iggy looks so nasty. Plus, I didn't realize how, like, I don't know if he got more comfortable with the pitch clock. Yes, Pilar crushes the O's too. I think he got comfortable with the pitch clock in his limited minor league innings. Because even he looks lightning fast and absolutely disgusting, which that is probably I'm really, really pleasantly surprised at how we were able to keep our head above water in terms of the bullpen. Yeah, we had some ugly ones against Houston and the one against Miami, but for a lot, I mean, Jesse Chavez has a few saves. Michael Tonkin doing what he's doing. Nick Anderson has a save as well. So we more than held our own, and I would have expected. What's up, Chris? I would have expected more of a rough patch, if that makes sense. Just because some teams losing their closer, most of the time are gonna really struggle a little bit more than you would think. But I'm really happy. Yeah, and Kevin just seems like a such down to earth guy, understands his role, and I think that I really appreciate. I think the Braves as a whole right now have guys that really understand their roles and don't and embrace it. And saw something today on Twitter that was very interesting, that the clubhouse, obviously we're not in it, but the vibes and the team chemistry since Dansby and Freddie left is much better and much more fun and much more creative and much more loose. And I agree with that. It's not that I wouldn't want Freddie or Dansby back, but I think this is a nice mix because you're just having fun, and obviously winning constitutes that, but you also see the gelling, see the if that makes sense. And I agree with it, and I don't know, the personalities seem to really gel, and it seems a lot more free and a lot more there's a lot more personality to our clubhouse than you've seen in yeah. And I think Ozzy is a perfect counterbalance, because I think he is what Ronald is. He's energetic, he loves the game, he plays, but if I'm not mistaken, in Texas a couple of years ago, I think it was Marcelo Zuna on the bases, and he didn't run, and Ozzy said, you gotta yell to him on the field, like, you gotta pay attention. So I think Ozzy is a great mixture of Ronald and what Freddie and Dansby brought. Matt Olson, I think Matt Olson and Sean Murphy are like the silent assassins, but apparently Matt Olson is one of the bigger trash talkers we have, which I wouldn't have pegged that, but I like that. The sneaky type, and I mean, we obviously don't like what Marcelo Zuna did off the field, but Darren O'Day said he's a great person in that melding the Latin players and all the other players. So I'll give him credit there. And I feel like that he's been very very important in that way. Whether we know it or not, Darren O'Day has been in that clubhouse, and I trust him to the fullest. So I appreciate that Marcelo Zuna is a pretty darn good guy in the clubhouse, despite the off the field issues. And yes, Money Mike getting his first walk off, having the first like big hit this year for him feels really good. Hey Joseph, and yeah, Ronald putting it all together is Ronald putting it all together is absolutely incredible. His on base streak ended yesterday, but he still impacted the game in that amazing way. Nice tag by Riley as well. Yeah, that's a good comparison, Matt Ryan and Matt Olson. I think that Joseph Shoemake's only been up 3 days. 3 days. 3. And with Arcia back, it'll be interesting how they use him. But having one start, and I think they realized that the platoon thing between Grisham and Grisham and Shoemake wasn't gonna work, and Arcia somehow magically was good enough. But yeah, I think it was shocking for all of us, but I think the Braves also realized Arcia at 85%. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think Ed here is on the IL with what is it, shoulder inflammation or something to that effect. But yeah, I think Braden Shoemake is going to be that. Just kind of. I don't know that I know that Braden is a utility type guy because um, I don't. I've seen him most. I think he's played second and short. So yeah, I think that's probably accurate about Shoemake. And Shoemake's defense is so much better than Vaughn Grisham's right now. I think that's fair to say. I think again, it's a good problem to have. But with RC up, Braden Shoemake isn't gonna play a ton. But again, you also have the DH spot for Braden to say get 4 or 5 at bats, depending on if you want somebody else to have an off day or a off day, at least starting. Um, yeah, Kevin Pillar. We talked about him earlier, but him getting his 100th that way in the Hank Aaron Terrace. My time at the Wells Fargo was awesome.
Because it's weaker contact, but to the infield defense, they're third in converting ground balls into outs.
Yeah.
Just slightly behind Arizona and Tampa.
I did have a great time. So awesome watching professional golfers look normal and like all of us, but super fun. Great weather. Probably the nicest weather we've had going there in a while. First time in 7 years with all of the crazy stuff that happened and all of that stuff. And yeah, Hudson, I think it was a telltale sign. What was it? When Kevin Pillar hit the pinch hit go ahead homer, we replaced Grisham with Shoemake in the 9th inning. So that tells you what the defense is. Yeah, and Iglesias being back just kind of calms everything down in the bullpen. Like I said, I think we did a fantastic job holding down the fort, so to speak, with Tonkin and Jesse Chavez and Nick Anderson becoming key cogs. I'm wondering the Jimenez role I talked about earlier, but I don't think anybody was in here yet. I just don't know what it is yet, and I don't think he's found his niche. I don't think he's pitched necessarily bad. But just some interesting situations being put in blowout wins, blowout losses. I don't know that he's found his niche yet. I'm wondering about Yaxel Rios because that guy throws 99 with a nasty split. He's been closing for Gwinnett. I don't know if he'll play factor in this season at all, but that's an interesting piece to continue to follow. And yeah, if anyone, Iggy does not lack confidence, and Iggy definitely does not lack confidence, and we all need to embrace that like he does. And like I said earlier, the ability with the pitch clock, I think he kind of figured it out a little bit with his rehab assignments. He's used that to his advantage, and having the confidence ooze and be that locked in two outings, that works. That really, really does. And yes, I am hoping too that the Warriors tie it up just for, because I think the Lakers weren't good all year. I know they made the moves, and oof,
Let's see if CB Buckner is okay. Something came off
CB Buckner just got nailed with a foul ball.
because I saw a piece of equipment fall down onto the ground.
I think he might have just got a concussion. He got rocked. But yeah, I really hope the Warriors can bounce back just for a fun series. I don't think any of us are necessarily a fan of Ozuna, but if he's going to be around, I like the fact that he has had a bunch of productive at bats lately, and I like the fact that seemingly he's good for the clubhouse per Darren O'Day. If you watch the first night against the Orioles, and I think the Braves, it's been like he's had 3 instances, and obviously I think the Braves care about culture a lot. So if him being around a lot, him still being around despite 3 unwelcome things is nice. So yeah, I mean, even when he had his absolutely terrible April, I think he still had 15 walks or so. So I mean, if he's got to be around, and he's been productive, so you got to give him credit. And obviously he's important to the clubhouse and important to the clubhouse culture, which the Braves value to the end of the earth, kind of. So not kind of, but that's probably a wrong term, but they care about who's in that clubhouse. So obviously Ozuna still being around says something, and mistakes do happen. Well, yeah, obviously Sam Hilliard's got a ton of speed. I still can't believe he's that fast for that size. I didn't realize. And I think having Travis d'Arnaud come back, they probably had a conversation or 2 or 3 with Ozuna. The fact of the matter was, if he didn't start picking it up, I think we would have had a much tougher decision. The money being what the money is. Yeah. Sean Murphy, I didn't realize it'd been that long. I thought I feel like Travis d'Arnaud has had something. I feel like, or maybe not, but No, Ozuna is not going in left field. I mean, he might have to, but he's not going into left field for me. I don't think so. I just don't. Especially since Travis, I mean, you're going to want to ease him back in the lineup, to be honest. And Eddie's been playing too well, having too good at bats. And Kevin Pillar, as long as you defensive replace him in later innings, I guess. And I guess you're gonna have to see it a little more. But no, but I also don't want. Yeah, I don't want Murphy to lose his rhythm either. So obviously there's a lot of options, and yeah, and like Eddie's starting to click as well and had some really good bats, lefty, and seeing Michael Harris have that good at bat, lefty, that really helps. So a lot. I mean, there's a lot of. I think we'll see more so out in left field, probably once every 2 weeks, I would hope. But honestly, you could just. Yeah, I mean, again, it's a good problem to have. You go with the hot hand. I would assume that you want to ease Travis back into it, considering how well Murphy's playing. It's the fourth concussion, and he only had 3 at bats in AAA, so you got to balance that. I don't. I feel like we have this conversation every live Matt. Like, I mean, Von Grisham struggled. Von Grisham struggled as short. I don't think we appropriately evaluated his defense. But also he's still young, and Marcell Ozuna is just so much of a liability that you and Grisham 7 like, you got to give him a chance. It didn't work. I mean, that's ideal, and putting Marcell Ozuna in left field once every 2 weeks, I would be okay with. But like we've said, you've got Kevin Pillar, you've got Sam Hilliard, and you got Eddie Rosario hitting better. Like, I feel like there's going to be like a roulette of DHs, honestly, depending on the matchup, depending on who's hot, depending on who's the numbers, because and I think you could live because every position matters, and we know that. But saying it's left, who cares? You cannot say that. Ozuna just has so much of a track record of terrible defense, terrible arm. He brings absolutely nothing. Von Grisham hasn't fully developed yet, and let's not fully put the kid on blast here, because if Ozzy didn't get hurt last year, and if Arcia doesn't get hurt this year, we probably don't see him because of the fairness or the lack thereof. So, and to say put him in left field, who cares? That's a little I realize that left field's not the best. It's usually the power and offense. But look at what Alex Anthopoulos did at the left field position this offseason. Sam Hilliard, Kevin Pillar, Jordan Luplow. Their calling card was defense. So I don't think you can say left field, who cares defensively. And I think the Braves overplayed the Grisham hand in terms of how it was reported, the narratives that were created, and things of that nature. So I think the Braves overplayed their hand with Grisham as a shortstop. And obviously it's magnified because Dansby left for Chicago. So there's a lot of that. But Arcia was clearly the right choice. And I mean, 7 errors at shortstop is just unacceptable.
Well, that's what I mean. In my era, I don't remember anybody having any walk-up moves, so it must have been introduced after. What was your last?
Like I get the point of your.
What was actually your last? 2 starts in 95.
I get that point, but I don't think we understood that Grisham wasn't completely ready as a defensive shortstop, or we wouldn't have given him that chance. So to say that, thank you, Joseph. I have a lot of them, but these were got them in spring training. I just. Of course, you overcome error. I mean, you overcome errors at every position. Riley's made some errors. Matt's made some errors. So I think it's unfair to I don't know. I mean, Marcelo Ozuna is going to be in the lineup more, but I think invariably it's going to be at the DH per matchup. But I could see him once every 2 weeks or so, maybe. But again, Kevin Pillar, Sam Hilliard, those guys are putting up great at-bats too. So again, it's a good problem to have. Like Chris said earlier, you love having so much talent on one roster, but you have to make decisions. Riley hasn't been consistent, but he also has his career best walk rates. He's contributed some really big defensive plays, really big hits in our rallies. He got the double before the Pillar homer. He got the double before Sandy Alcantara. He's hit the ball really, really hard and hit into some bad luck. So I really don't like the narrative. I know Riley's struggling. I know that. But I don't like the narrative that we need to start worrying about him. This slump kind of really reminds me of Matt Olson's last year. Oh my god. I think it's a bit of Matt Olson's slump last year. And he's trying to do too much, but he's also getting back to his approach. So yes, I want Riley to start being a little more consistent, but I wouldn't say I just don't like the we need to be really, really concerned about Riley because he's still contributing in different ways to win, and I like that. So and yes, it's a slump for Riley, but again, he's still doing productive things. So and yeah, it means he'll get hot in all July and August is his favorite months anyway. So we're good. Look, I like we've said, Marcelo Zuna hitting better gives us more of a conversation, but I can't be the answer to the question because I don't know. But all I know is there's a lot of good players, and whoever's hitting the best is going to play. And or whoever is hottest at the time per matchup, per team, whoever we're playing is going to play. So, obviously thank God for the DH because then you would even have to make more tough decisions. What are you you wouldn't be selling at all. We're 24-11. You can't sell at all unless you're unless something drastically bad happens. You're not gonna sell at all. You might do something like we did last off season, dealing from a strength, but you're definitely buying. This trade deadline's probably gonna be dead though, but it's gonna be a while. Why? Joseph, I mean, Jason Hayward hasn't been with the Braves in since 2014. I love Jason, and Freddie, I think he's settled into being a Dodger, and thankful for the 12 years he gave us. But I think it's the natural progression of baseball and how it has to go. But we're in a fantastic spot right now, 24-11. That's why there's no way that you're selling at all. You might deal from a strength or something like we did with the catcher position. No, I didn't see that, but that's kind of a bad look because the All-Star stuff is important, but that's not surprising, and because Rob Manfred does some dumb things. That'll be a good thing. And Ozzy getting hot really does help as well. And Alex Anthopoulos, we gotta extend Alex Anthopoulos. I think his contract is up in 2025 or so. So hopefully we get that done first. But agree, just keep your core together as always, and keep doing really good things there. I'm gonna, and it's funny. The left field position was terrible early, and obviously Marcelo Zuna not being great. But using platoon type players and then kind of finding their footing with the Braves, Sam Hilliard, Kevin Pillar, Eddie Rosario, Eli White, that kind of thing. I'm glad that the left field position isn't the black hole we thought, and we can always trust Alex Anthopoulos.
It's about as authentic as it gets. And I was even talking to Matt Mervis about if I had him.
Well, agreed, but Apple is just a part of it right now, and thank God for the free trials, so you don't really have to. So you don't really have to pay. Same with Peacock and things of that nature. It's just the nature of it. Everybody seems to find ways around it. But yeah, I'd rather listen to our home broadcast with Frenchie and Godden and Peter and all those guys because it just feels good, and Darren O'Day as well. So I agree, but
Yeah, that's a tough play where you get a lot of times with sinker ballers, right?
They do. They seem like they have a brother. The brotherly love, the brotherly relationship already is nice to hear from both of them. And even Peter and Brandon seem to have that as well. So it feels like a nice chemistry, and I do really like the radio broadcast stuff for Apple TV as well, because Ben and company are amazing. So that is awesome as well. I'm really happy that yeah. I think Chip Carey was awesome for the Braves in big moments. I think his calling card was calling big moments, and I'll appreciate him for that. But I think, yes, I agree with Hudson. Between the Murphy and Godden pickups, those are probably our best so far, and I'm really happy for that because it's ideal. If you can feel the genuine love of the Braves and wanting us to do well, and the annoyance when Kyle Tucker and Alvarez crush us, you can hear it in Brandon Gaughan's voice, and it's really nice. It is really, really nice. And Chip Carey, love his calls and all of that. Really happy he was able to go home, but I don't know that he's really happy at the moment because the Cardinals are a freaking mess. So good luck with that, but I'm really happy with where the Braves stand. Obviously the Kyle Wright injury and the uncertainty of Max Fried for whatever reason right now is a little bit black hole. Pilar has been a really good pickup as well. I mean, I guess if you rank the off-season pickups thus far, I would say Sean Murphy 1, Nick Anderson 2,
I used to live on the top. Is that right? Yeah, I was like
Nick Anderson, Sean Murphy, Nick Anderson 2, Kevin Pillar 3, Sam Hilliard 4. And yeah, and like I talked about with Joe Jimenez, that hasn't worked out right now, but I just don't think they found the role yet, so I'm not gonna say that's wrong just yet, because he still has electric stuff, just hasn't found his niche yet. So that would probably be the last of the pickups so far. But again, as I'm like 98% sure we're going to be buyers at the deadline, but according to Buster Only, it's going to be a pretty quiet deadline based if you're comparing last year's and the last couple of years. It's going to be mouse quiet according to him, but who knows. yes, Chip Carey picked the absolute worst year to come to the Cardinals, and I don't feel bad for him at all. It's just so interesting that the Cardinals have been like the standard for quality run organizations and all, and their craziness so far. Trading Contreras. I think like I talked about when we traded Willie C. I hated it too, but with the new rules and everything, Murphy was the perfect fit, and I still can't believe we got him for what we got him for. To be honest, Mueller has done. I think he has the only pitcher win for the A's right now. Freddie Tarnock is on the 60-day IL. Shea Langoliers has done solid. That was in the Matt Olson trade, but if I'm just thinking of all the pieces that we've given to Oakland, they haven't really panned out. And getting Matt Olson and Sean Murphy for depth pieces for us is absolutely phenomenal. But I think William Contreras is probably going to end up more.
They did shake hands pregame here today. Bellinger down on strikes. We'll go to the fourth, 1-0.
Yeah. And I think Willie C is gonna project more of a DH, and we've already discussed this entire time that we have a lot of DH options. That's cool. Giving Austin Pearl a workout, cool. Get his name out there and see if he can help us win ball games and give him a chance to be seen. That's awesome. Yeah, it is really tough seeing the fan stuff in Oakland because they were so amazing from like 15 to 19 and like 14 to 19 and a lot before that. It's really tough, and they might botch this thing with Vegas, which makes it even worse. I know nothing about the All-Star thing. Chris just brought it up, so I'm not the one to ask there. Yeah, probably. If they don't botch the sale of Oakland, sale of the naming rights or whatever, it seems like that they're actually trending towards that, which is sad that they can't even get sales right or whatever. But yeah, I think it's really sad. But hey, Hudson, thanks to your Rockies for taking 3 out of 4 from the Mets this weekend. That was very nice.
I think some of the activities can be fueled by it's the Cardinals, right? I mean, if you came in a Royals uniform,
Other than that, and some of the comments he made when he went to St. Louis, kind of embracing,
Yeah, they did. Just lose.
He's a very emotional guy, and I think he was hurt.
I mean,
Swanson, one throw, Gold Glover. Bailey many, if any, shortstops better on the backhand than Dansby Swanson.
And this ball is smoked. 117 point pass off the bat. And you see the quick reaction to that. What's amazing?
Yeah, 2 out of 3.
Have the strongest arm, but he really knows how to play the position. He knows the base runner. He knows
It was great to see that, and they're playing. I mean, they're not great, but the team is playing kind of okay. I mean, or a little bit more competitive than I thought. I thought it is Tuesday, yeah, but they are tied 2-2 with Oakland in like the 6th. So. Yeah, the Yankees need Aaron Judge back. They need Stanton back. I don't know that they're gonna get Rodon back because apparently his back is chronic. Oh man, I'm really glad we didn't do that. 6-1-62. Even though that seemed like one of the pretty whatchamacallit, like fair deals.
Being able to make all kinds of different plays, being able to go to your left, right, being able to come in when you have to, turning double plays when you get the opportunity. There's so many things that go into it. And this group has been really good at it.
The Astros have gotten ravaged by pitching injuries. I don't think they're as good right now with Framber Valdez and Urquidy going on the IL, and I think Framber is out with Tommy John. They do love to dump good talent they shouldn't dump, so maybe. I don't think the Astros are as good, but also they're still waiting on Altuve and Brantley and some others. So, I mean, their pitching injuries, I don't know if they can come back from those. And yeah, they're not as good, so they probably shouldn't be ranked as high. But it's the pedigree of the Astros. It just is. And that's what experts and people like to say.
What results are we not happy with? Well, I think there's big pitches in the game that maybe a pitcher needs to think about a little more once in a while. I do. I feel you. No, you don't. What?
Nah, I mean, early season power. I could do an early season. I could do a weekly power rankings thing, and it really wouldn't matter. Yeah, hopefully her recovery has started and she's done well. Dansby just made a nice diving play on a 117-mile-an-hour smash off the bat of Contreras, Wilson Contreras. I have the Cubs and Cardinals on right now just for background noise. But yeah, I mean, I think the most surprising team is probably the Chicago White Sox in the bad way. The Mariners have started playing a lot better. The Pirates finally snapped their streak tonight of 8-game losing streak with Mitch Keller, who's put it together. He just threw a complete game shutout against the Rockies. So talking good about the Rockies, then look at the box, but again, yeah, agreed, Hudson. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said earlier, I don't know what Shoemake's ability to be a utility is, to be honest. But I think he can play second and short, and a good defensive replacement. if something were to happen. So I'm not sure how exactly that's going to play out, but it depends on if Shoemaker.
I'm Jay, and this is my first big purchase with help from Long Depot. This is where I play my favorite music. It's my sanctuary.
I guess you kind of have to make your own games when things aren't going well. I remember I did when in the 2015 to 2017 rebuild years. I made up a lot of games to make myself feel better about where the Braves were. So kind of have to do that. Again, I don't know if it would be good for Shoemaker not to have consistent at bats, or if he can handle not having consistent at bats. I'm not sure. Really happy with what the Panthers have done overall. And really excited to see what that Yeah, that's true. The Rockies don't know if what they're actually doing, so that's actually right. Plus, they gave up Nolan Arenado for Doritos and a Gatorade, so I'm not sure. But I don't know. I really don't know. I think Adrian's is a great clubhouse guy. He's put up some really good at bats in his limited time, so we'll see.
And then he just faced all these lefties. Booker and Tanner Scott and Drop 98. Puck. Yeah. His advance have not been easy. But
I think all of us are happier to.
Left-handers with velocity and breaking balls, and two right-handers that have.
Well, that's good to hear. The Arizona Diamondbacks are fun. They're cool, and they've got a lot coming up, and I'm really happy for them that they've done a nice job with the rebuild. Happy for the Pirates and their start they've gotten off to, and their rebuild is starting to see some fruits of that labor. And I think that the Diamondbacks are going to be a force very, very soon, and they're pesky and annoying and fun right now. So even the Tigers are playing pretty solid baseball right now too. So they're kind of seeing fruits of the labor as well. That's cool. I mean, I don't think they're gonna make that mistake again. But if they did, I wouldn't be mad. But we also have Michael Harris, so I'm not. But again, it's fun to think of trades like that, but we have so much talent on the roster, and Snit and company are gonna have a lot of good problems to have, and that's a really, really, really good thing. But a tough week ahead with the Red Sox and the Blue Jays, who started to play amazing, and the Red Sox are really, really solid as well. So it's going to be a solid, good test, but I'm really glad we got the not winning on Saturday and Sunday monkey off our back, so to speak. I don't know if the Rays are ever going to lose. What are they, 28-7? So that's always so fun to see, because every year we think the Rays, they're going to finally I think Malloy will be Malloy will be up, but it was weird because I don't think Henry Malloy had a position for us. So it'll be interesting where they put. I don't know. I'm just interested to see where Malloy will be for the Detroit, because that's interesting. Maybe he'll be a utility, or I'm not sure. But the Rays are always the team that you always think is going to take us, or I do. I always think is going to take a step back, and then they just keep finding them. But they have been hit by the injury bug, so maybe something will trip them up. But it doesn't look like it's gonna happen anytime soon. It's absolutely amazing, and I tip my cap every single time. They're just phenomenal. Yeah. Fine. Cano is kind of like the Jose Alvarado, where he finally found the strike zone, so he's absolutely disgusting. The Orioles bullpen is absolutely disgusting. I am surprised they didn't add more rotation-wise, but dang, they are annoyingly tough. And Anthony Santander, I saw enough of him for an entire season. He was that amazing, and that bullpen is something rough. I just hope they don't overuse them. Thank you. And I don't know if they're going to be run down by July. Yeah. I don't know what it means. None of us know what it means with Max Fried. Hopefully it means nothing. Hopefully it's just some gamesmanship. Maybe it's something personal. I don't know. None of us know. Hopefully it's not anything crazy. Yeah, I agree. I really like what they've done. Another team that's done a rebuild very, very well. So I appreciate that. Yeah, it would. Yeah. That would be an awesome series. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Reed. Hopefully it's nothing, but these guys are humans too, so hopefully it's nothing big. I haven't seen anything specific at all. So I think we're gonna find out when everyone finds out somewhat.
You need to practice this infielders. Sometimes they'll put a clock on the field and say, hey, this is a guy that's 3-9. This is a guy that's 4-5, first base, so you can practice it. And in your scouting reports, you'll know who can really run, and then you know how to get rid of it.
I don't know if Fried is married, but yeah, he's dealt with flus and stomach bugs before. He dealt with it in the playoffs against the Phillies. He dealt with it in the Mets series last year. So.
Did not have good swings in his slider. Saw the one on the CB he just missed. Oh, that was the right call. It's the right call. I think he had to process what he saw. Well, you know what they're saying. Yeah, he had to wait for the call.
I'm trying to look and see if Max is married. I don't.
The old great duck party would tell you it's a half an inch outside. It's an inch outside. Really, Doug?
Broke around the plate, son. No, son. Here's a 2-2.
I don't think so. Yeah, it just says parent, so I don't think he's married. I guess we'll find out when everybody does.
Fun to work with. Son, that's a Hall of Fame kid.
Yeah. Just hope everything's good and it's not going to be a long-term thing, whatever it is. Because he's so important. I think we might have the best 1-2 punch in baseball, and Strider and Fried, and I think
Go back to July 9th of last year. In 23 starts.
That's cool. Meeting Chipper at a bar. I'm sure he was fun to talk to. But I think everything's really humming. Obviously, the Kyle Wright injury puts a little bit of a damper on that, but Dylan Dodd coming in and doing what he did against the Marlins makes you feel a little bit better. And obviously, I think well, good timing on your part that you were there for some reason. Unfortunate for him, but I think he's super happy now, so that's all that matters. But yeah, Chipper's been a nice help for the hitters, and I think he's been working with Riley a little bit because you can see him get out of his slump a little bit, so that's nice. But I think we're gonna see Michael Soroka at some point, just to give him a shot and see what he's got. And obviously, you don't want injuries, but this providing the opportunities and having the depth we do. Yeah, in that series, yeah. I mean, we caught him when he was super hot. So yeah, I definitely would do that if we face Alvarez anymore, for sure. But we won't face them unless we play him in the World Series. But Alvarez is that guy for me. Really cool experience for you with Chipper. That's really cool. I'm really happy for that. But the Braves being as good as we are right now, 24-11, I think 7 games up, which it's crazy. And I'm not used to us being this good, but really happy about it. And a lot of good problems to have, and a lot of hopefully keep stacking those W's this week and beyond. And this is probably our toughest stretch of the season, so it'll be a good test to see. And can't wait to watch it all because it's just been fun, and the chemistry has been amazing, and winning the way we have, awesome. That's cool. You guys have had some good experiences with Chipper Jones and stuff. That's really cool. I did a couple of projects on Chipper Jones. I haven't met him at all, but it's all good. But I will be at Truist June 6th when the Braves take on the Mets, so that will be fun. First time being at a Braves game since 2019, so that's cool. I'm really excited. Can't wait. And hopefully our division lead is the same or more by June 6th. But really, really happy where we stand. So many good things, so many positive things, so many good stories. And 24-11, really couldn't ask for anything more with all of our injuries and adversities to start the season. And being 15-3 on the road,
Here's the thing about Mike, he can throw anything here. I mean, that's the type of pitcher he is. He's not a guy that needs to throw a fastball here.
but as always, go Braves, champions forever. Thanks for hanging, guys. I will probably do a live watch of Wednesday's game, but keep checking my Twitter. I'll put the updates there because I didn't get to do the live watch last week because I got busy. So I told you I would do 2 this week, and that'll be hopefully Wednesday. As always, go Braves, champions forever. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Helps out a lot. Thanks, guys. Talk to you guys later.
We'll receive a 1914 bat presented by Budweiser. Purchase tickets.com/tickets.
It's a good looking lid.